Hello people, Lipluini is back. Again we're underway with Font, Minnesota, still trying desperately to sink at least one province into the ocean. God of Xibalba, Dominion 6, commands the summer of the year 4 of the Ascension Wars. First off, I talked with Asphodel, my ally, on Discord, and that's the reason why we suddenly get showered with gems. Earth gems, which we direly need now that I've made so many Earth Gem boots, Water Gems to just proceed with our war as planned, and 25 Astral Gems to be turned in whatever we need. We also finished Conjuration 6 and are now slamming into Conjuration 7. We are still kind of speeding up here. And really at this point, since we have to do the same thing for Evocation 7 and 8 and then for Lost Land, I'm kind of done here. Conjuration 7 is useful and it doesn't take 250,000 turns or whatever. Oh, fuck it. It will be considered by me a major victory if we can actually deploy Lost Land at least once in this. So, the deal with Asphodel is he gets to take my throne, and in turn I'll pretend nothing is happening, which is while I can't actually do anything. And yeah, Asphodel has now claimed another throne. I'm guessing it's the one we saw in Abysia down below the earth. Then there was a battle in the docks as one of Agartha's horrible little armies is moving around. There are still 130 units here, so fortification is now cracked. And I'm not wasting any more games on desperately trying to get more units in here. 168 units and dipshits inside have to be it. So hopefully they can kill at least one or two of those really horrible elementals. Then also the Great Olms that I kind of lost tracking earlier. In this case, I will probably mind blast a large chunk of our army. So hopefully our frogs can just stand here and take it, because if they suffer enough mind blasts, at least our mages will be capable of continuing. And it's not as easy mode as it seems, because I've tried units like Great Olms by myself. The Great Olms might be even a bit easier to handle since they are sacreds and you can load up with Earth Magic on your Pretender build and then sink their endurance consumption, their... fuck, what was the correct terminology again? The encumbrance by adding reinvigoration. And while it's a little bit expensive, 2 bless points for -1 fatigue per turn, it helps a lot. I think if they are similar like the Abodai from a completely different nation, Abodai are something like deep sea fish with mind blasting capabilities. Those Abodai was something like 10 fatigue per cast of Mind Blast. So while Mind Blast is super precise and has an almost infinite range of 100, that's the entire battlefield in principle, they can also, without help, only shoot approximately 10 times before they have to take a nap. And if they then shoot again, they have to take a nap for multiple turns, so their fire slows down a lot after their first 10 shots, which still is a lot. I think possibly up to 70 of those, but that's even without any reinvigoration, about 700 shots. I can probably add a couple hundred more if they have heavy reinvigoration, but as I've learned the hard way, they're not always the answer to everything. I have to see how this is going. And of course, it could be that he's just waiting one turn to get the second army back to move for the final attack. So that's done. Then we see Asphodel slamming into Marignan. I have taking almost no losses. Let's see, then in the Baron Cracks, his throne snatching army is marching in. Carrion Lord alone is level 3 priest, so yeah, it's a throne snatching army, and it's 1,558 units. and including large blocks of non-standard undead like those horses. You may notice the hit points here. It's not exactly the 5 or 10 of normal skeleton types. There are also, of course, carrion bears. They have 68 hit points. So, in all those fucking tags, that's yeah, so you may have noticed that this nation is a bit overpowered in Dominion 6. The Carrion Furies are undead versions of their sacreds. They're of course still sacred, and have 3 fucking attacks. And, well, okay, they have some protection so to not immediately die if someone hits them. But as long as they can hit someone, good luck fucking surviving this onslaught. And, of course, some of the shit like the sleep vines is fatigue damage, while the skull club is just normal magic damage. Yeah, normal. So there is not much that can actually resist a full-blown attack of those monsters. You can even take a look at this, so you're probably not going to see a lot with that many units on the field. Yeah, they even have an undead version of their centaurs, the Sagittarian carcass. Thanks to the sleep vines, they have now 4 attacks. Thankfully, one of them is a long-range attack and will cease to matter in melee, but holy fucking shit. They're also fairly fast. The only thing is they of course aren't cavalry, because centaurs aren't. Carrion behemoths are undead elephants, enough said. So this of course hits our tiny little defense force in the barren cracks, and yeah, it's a giant mass of green plants. And I'm guessing those horse archers must have balls of steel to see this mass and going up. Let's attack them. So let's cut this mercifully short. And our defenders get a swift death. Then we have tons of events. In the Cloudbreakers we got a temple? Fucking, where the fuck is this? Oh, over here. Well, good fucking luck that we're currently not at war with Asphodel. Looks like Asphodel and Scaleria are still trying to outmaneuver each other here. So, and in Lake Fortuna we got another of those fucking preachers. I swear to God, the developers must have put down a comma wrong or something, because in any game I had so far in Dominion 6 there were tons and tons and tons of those fuckers. Like an insane amount. Well, Lake Fortuna has not that much in common, so I can ignore it for now. Hopefully the defenders can deal with it. They have 11. I think that's not even enough for patrolling. So eventually we'll have to deal with this, but not this time. And yeah, Mu is now cracked open, and we have terrain change. Yeah, we lost some population because suddenly Agartha and Darton... Oh, Quadra? I expected Darton to change. But no, Quadra over here is so surrounded and inundated with Asphodel territory that it just turned into a forest. It still has high income, but now it's also higher resources. Same thing for Beatra. Beatra could now be a better place than our capital if it weren't for Asphodel being next door. And Agartha, yeah, that's one of those provinces now. Resources is now sadly only a tiny bit up to. A bit disappointing. I expected more from this terrain change. Let's see what happens to Darton, which is at resource 14. I really hope it gets a little more. Everything else would be kind of mean. However, here we can equip... Oh. Did I? Oh yeah, I already equipped 2 of these, so this is basically only a scout at this point. Let's see if I can use him to assassinate whatever is hiding there, because that would be funny as fuck. Our last line of defense here in the capital. Also, fuck it. You, my friend, will now let's see if we can snipe the prophet. Don't even look too closely at this. So let's see if we can at least root out this maniac here with adding even more winged maniacs of our own to the pot. And the god of man, I speak for the trees, has been vanquished because he lost his last province. So that's kind of a large fall from the big army we saw down to absolutely nothing. Well, look at this. Asphodel is clearly winning. He transforms the entire world into one big forest. I guess this is a battle nature will actually win. Yeah, with a gift of health and Mother Oak and all that shit, he is the clear winner. We have to settle for hopefully not last place in our battle against Agartha. Also, I spoke with the player of Agartha, who is kind of apologetic because I'm the weakest neighbor he could find. So yeah, fair enough. And also, it's as I've speculated, his earth elementals are stronger than normal because that's middle-aged Agartha's gimmick. They see golems and other constructs, including elementals, as their thing. They worship them, and this means their dominion makes their weirdos stronger. So the reason his earth elementals have all those superpowers is because his dominion is shooting them up. So he's actually doing something really funny and big. Too bad he comes too late to the party, because his earth elementals would have had a good chance of ripping through all those assholes, but at this point the free spawn alone is probably enough to create another monster army like the one we saw passing through here. They are only one province from taking down our little assholes here. So this guy of course will be dead soon, but hey, he will come back. You just have to remember to unequip his skull staff and send us back into our Omni international network of laboratories so I can recover it. And now I'm getting to see if I can find what's here with level 3 Death Mage. It's either an Inkwell or a Well of Pestilence. I've forgotten. I think Inkwells were terrifying in Dominions 4 and 5, and Wells of Pestilence, I keep forgetting if they're the same thing or just a weaker version. I guess I'll remember it soon enough. You also have those poor doggies here who will face the brunt of this insane maniac monster army. But as he promised, he is going for my throne, not for my poor defenseless capital. You also have these assholes here sitting around, not doing anything. Hey, is anyone at all of you interested in having a tiny army? Or at least something here. No money left over to do anything recruitment-wise. Can only get some frogs in the capital, that's it. But I'll probably change this up. How much is someone of my level 1 water ahas? Yeah, they're also priests, could be useful. They're 140, and our little monster frogs are 26. Yeah, that... Huh. Okay, now it works out. So, Beatra, you now have a temple and a lab, which means I can now recruit my insane asshole mages here. Oh, a Moor Scout? Never seen this one before. Oh, it's a forest recruit. So we would have seen this little guy here, another stealth idiot, a lot faster if we had built fortresses in more than a couple forest provinces. So of course, no idea. Packwoods, was this even a forest, or is it just one of those provinces transformed into forests? Hard to tell this late. I'm as always too lazy to look this shit up in my older videos. But of course, Packwoods. Yeah, they have these guys, so I just overlooked them. We also have Jaguar priests, which could have given us blood. But it's a bit too late. All we can do is now hold on for our dear life. You have all those insane assholes here. No idea what I'm doing with this scout. Yeah, so we can get ahas. Now that way we can use frost. I mean frozen heart. Again, memory blip. Funny thing is, of course, our flyers would become in handy since all our battles are underwater. But no such luck. No such luck at all. I think this one is a bit under strength. So we have now a lot of maniacs here underwater. Oh, warriors. Well, okay, these are the shittiest of the shittiest. Where can I put them down? I think this one would be the best. Then which one of... Oh, those have the lesser strength. So, okay. That's it. Of course, I'm kind of peeved that I can't use my flyers. And these guys... yes, so we'll have to remove all the flyers from our setup now, since they can't move with us. Hey, stop it. I was just trying to find all the flying units. Luckily I put them all under the commanders that can fly, so there shouldn't be any oopsies here. My undead mages can also move underwater, so that's not a problem. So let's have to take a look at there are no flyers sitting in my bigger armies, because, yeah, of course, fucking hell. We can go over here. So that's it, we have taken them out. Yeah, 500 units here, but of course, without the flyers it's more like 400. Hopefully they can survive for long enough. Now I am carefully divide them from each other. Yeah, okay. Why were you three here waiting? I wanted you to assassinate. Hopefully they can get a fucking hell. They need 2 turns either way, so I can march them over here. So where are my... Yeah, they are also on their way. Lots of assassins. Let's see which of our stupid gimmicks works more. And now I'm skimming through here to see if at least the armies... Oh yeah, of course. No idea what I'm doing with you guys. I guess you can send that down here. I have to rejigger the lines a little bit. Yeah, we have Shattercast, some priests, and... yeah. Lots of water gems. Yeah. If they're not enough... yeah, okay. If we actually survive our first big battle, then I guess I can run back and get some more. Hey, if the enemy survivors actually are capable of coming after us, then I could deploy my flyers, maybe. Yeah, here the line down here is a bit weak. See? Luckily underwater there is no flying. So hopefully this should plug everything. Of course, eventually all those units will die or start running away. So So now it's the harder part, finding out... Yeah, that's another Shatter Mage. This is of course a little bit riskier since he is one of the bigger ones. This one also equally, so... now I have to take a good look at my FTS miniature picture here. Yeah, okay, you should probably go a bit further into the back. And you be... Let's put you a bit over here. So, okay, we'll put you here where the weaker front is. So, there's a higher chance the water elementals are actually needed over here. Okay, you can stay where you are, but please a bit further up into the left. Curse of Stones here, this guy is buffing with his level 4 Earth, which will turn into level 5 Earth as soon as it's going on, and he's far enough away from the fighting. Yeah. Nope, it's already almost a maximum density. Looks a bit odd over there, but I think I have plugged everything up. And there is another Shattercaster that should stand somewhere else. I'm putting down here. Hopefully he isn't dying too fast. Some of these guys are fairly beefy, but of course they have to hit multiple times to bring a single one down. So I'm trying to put the big beefy ones not everywhere at one, and of course it would be nice. I could. Oh. Curse of Stones. No, fuck, not you, you idiot. Where was the other elf mage? Shatter, shatter, shatter. And... the fans of scripting. And yeah, advance and cast spells just as a... And yeah, you should probably take a step back, just in case. I should probably one more guard just in case. I don't even know if School of Sharks multiple times does anything, so changing this to Water Elemental. So I think we have everything up now. There are no Shatter Mages in the back line. Oh, no, this one is too far. And now I'm kind of losing it here, but 15 is really a tiny range. And even if they use their first turns to march forward and shoot basically the magic equivalent of a shotgun, I also would like to give them a chance to survive this mess. So hopefully, if things start out, they will still first use earth power and not move, and in fact the entire army won't move. Then second turn, they will start marching forward if they aren't in range, and probably end up in front. And then the other units will start moving, so they hopefully only move until they get into range, and then the army will bypass them and then die a lot. And hopefully the AI is smart enough to continue with Shatter as soon as an enemy is in range. Frozen Heart is more of an unknown quality. I don't have that many of them too. I really did forge a lot of those Earth Boots, I suppose. But that's it really. Several hundred units, and we are already trying to replace that shit. Of course, if we lose hard enough, all those forged shit I have is gone for good. We also are like still dozens of turns from level 9. Our research has now cratered again. And about 5 turns from Conjuration 7. Then... wow, fuck. 6 turns, at the very least, from Alter from Evocation 7. Then we'll probably need... wow, okay, we probably need something like fucking 30 turns. Yeah, the game is probably over. Yeah, that's the problem. Our nation isn't really good at anything, including research. It's really bad at this. I'm just lucky I didn't need to forge any boosters, otherwise we would have to make a sojourn into Construction 7, and that would be ridiculous. You know what? I'm kind of exasperated here, but it doesn't matter. We need the spells in Evocation 7 as much as we need the spells in Conjuration 7, and Evocation 7 is a step we have to go through, so we'll have to continue with this plan. Our capital has at least a last-ditch effort in terms of research, and we did get some more games where we can cast Lost Land at least once. So next turn we're losing Mu and hopefully do some damage before everyone dies. And then our last ditch effort of pushing our friends out. Well, and good news for you guys, even if I fail spectacularly, as long as Asphodel isn't taking over our capital, we haven't lost yet because Agartha is kind of hesitant to march further west because, as you notice, we are on almost 3 sides by now surrounded by Asphodel, and I'm guessing while we may have, technically speaking, a shitty alliance with Asphodel, Agartha doesn't. And since Agartha does still want to win the game, I suppose, even though it's kind of hopeless now, if he shows up and taking over Xibalba and contesting my old throne, then yeah, of course will Asphodel send several thousand weirdos down his throat, so he'll probably just try to take over the ocean, and then that's it. Of course, I don't want to be reduced to just a rump state, so I'll see if my anti-shatter, my anti-elemental army works out against his mega buffed ones. If we can get back our undersea provinces, it would help a little. So of course, the funny thing is, while using all this income is hurting us, after we lose our stupid throne, we'll get about 2 provinces worth of income back, because remember, the Throne of Bureaucracy takes away 200 gold per turn. Also, we got an additional temple for some reason. In the Cloudbreakers for some reason, oh. So we are now at 9 temples, but we're also losing one soon. And our Dominion conflict bonus and our 5 chances from the thrones go down to 0. So we're back to 13 chances. We have currently 14 provinces, and it's kind of shaky with Asphodel squeezing us from all sides. She might be getting Dominion killed, but I'm not giving up. I'm kind of unreasonable like this. Besides, if we can actually win without losing all of our mages, I can actually hopefully negotiate for some kind of white peace, since it's kind of impossible for us to win anything. And if he can't even stop me at Mu, it's even more hopeless, and he's probably giving up after that. But that's speculation. Right now, we got some more gems from our ally in exchange for our single throne. Now let's see if we can do this before Asphodel wins the game. Right now it doesn't look too good for anyone. Asphodel is up to 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Suim 11. So they only need a single drone after this. I mean, they could get this one if they're not that much far away right now, and if they're fighting Marino somewhere, they're probably taking another drone soon. Well, there is Scaleria's drone here. Not even that far away. I give it 10 turns or something and we might see the end of the game. Well, let's see how big this stupid forest can get. At least you got to see some terrain changes before the end. So, Libluini out. Hello friends, Libluini is back again, and we are still playing Fountain, Minnesota, the god of sinkholes, trying to sink the world. And I'm guessing at this point, if you're new here to this Let's Play, and I have no idea why you would go to the last episode, but yeah, so we are failing pretty damn hard. Asphodel, the nation of plant zombies, has at this point taken over most of the trons they need, most of the world, and has turned most of the world into an endless forest. So while we get to see some terrain changes, and around the ones I actually planned for. So this carrying lord of Asphodel has now taken over another throne. They only need 2 points and they gotten my throne. Remember the bribe? So I wouldn't fight back with my non-existent armies. So we found an enchanted well at the Well of Pestilence, which is, yeah, the reason why our units got deceased here in some mages. But hey, we now get 1 death gem before we lose this again. Equally here we get 1, equally funny we get 1, exactly 1 shiny blue gem before things are going down the drain here. So what I'm doing is this skull step has to go. There is no way this empty shell of a fortress can hold out. The fortification is already broken. So this is the last ditch effort of one of the players to stop Asphodel from taking this fortress, because 1 turn after, the game will end. There's also this big army, which at best is... oh yeah, there is a blockage, but here is a path going through. So in Mosswoods, sorry, Silvermark is lost. So this army would reach Witch Haven, and then the game would be over. So they are a bit late. So why this army is now trying its final attempt to stop the inevitable. And it's not like we can do to change anything. We're still patrolling here. And this prophet, well, he has lost anyway. No one is getting anything here. So you got exactly 1 frog. So that will be a disaster of colossal proportions. After losing everything of this year, we're actually getting some money back. And then 1 turn later, that's the end. So we'll have some things going on over here. Well, not right now, because we're down to 0 money, thanks to everything concentrated in 2 big stacks. Also, to my annoyance, we have all these units here and can't do anything. Lots and lots of flyers, which would be a nice harassment option. Fucking hell. I guess I can give these assholes some normal troops to move around. They're not exactly the best ones here. Yeah, I have no idea why I started recruiting the SWAT frogs. They're even worse than the spear frogs. So there is no mage here because one of the many things happening here was this here. A random event had a great bear attack our tiny little mage priest. So he immediately died. And it's even indoors. That's comical. So the bear crashed inside and then made a beeline for... Oh, hey, he even got a frozen heart in. And the other frogs are running, of course, and then the mage is running, then the last idiot is killed. So that was hilarious, but dumb. The funny thing is, if this Aha's AI had just sent out a stream of frozen hearts, he could have survived even. So that's a case of death by stupidity. Then yeah, Xibalba is open and Mu is open, but there was no battle because instead he sent in an ancient lord to look at what we are doing here. But we didn't do anything. There's just this big chunk of idiots in front of the gate. And yeah, and then the battle ended because he ran away, so... There's not much we can do here. Moo. Yeah, we didn't even use any gems. It's interesting to see that if the army is just big enough, then all this huge battle map is still fairly far away from the actual front lines. In this case, the gate. But all the random fuckers spawned by the castle itself will show up in the gate and block it. In the breach, I should say, and block it. So not much we can do here. Then there's this, another ancient lord. And I was thinking this might be a trap or so, but an ancient lord isn't a mage. And then I remembered, oh, he ran away from his scouting attempt. So that's the reason he's here. So there might still be a trap, but it doesn't look like this. I just got paranoid, since there is no mage in anything. The only thing which could happen is if the army on Mu steps into White Lake now for a big final battle attempt. There's also no reason to hold back, because next turn our throne is lost, and the turn after that the throne has been claimed by the winner of the game. So we can't just throw this army away in one fell swoop. Of course, since we are not holding the gate anymore, there is now no reason to have this like this. So any mages here? Yeah, frozen hearts. I could give some of my fuckers boots, but even if I forged them now, there would be no battle because the game would be over. So we have to go with the army we have prepared and throw away the second army to see if we can cause at least some losses, since it's impossible to have them fight together. Would be nice, of course, more numbers on ours and so on, but the problem is the Earth Elementals are so fucking overpowered and he has so many of them that our frogs are basically just worthless. These guys will take a long while to kill since they can also regenerate, but that's it. And all our mages can do is try to frozen heart the shard soldiers behind them. And there will be some buffs on our end. We're probably getting to kill a really small, terrifyingly small number of Earth Elementals. And then when the shard guys get close enough, hopefully some of our mages will have survived to take some of them out. And the funny thing is, this is even necessary, because if we take too many units into a battle, the Earth Elementals slaughtering them all day long might cause a massive rout because of all the corpses littering the land. So those 400 are already a huge risk, because even our sacreds aren't that good. They can barely defend themselves and have barely adequate attack powers and medium protectional. 1-2 hits and they are dead. And remember, none of our overpriced gimmick lords here have a helmet, so if one of those big meaty elemental fists hits their frog heads, they are just immediately squished. Yeah, so and this is our standard infantry, even with experience. They are barely above normal. And I'm gonna have some nice moral, I have to say. So they're probably not going to run away, but yeah, without massive amounts of experience points, they're just barely adequate light infantry. Their magic resistance is too low for big battles, and their moral isn't that strong either. As you can see in the dark, that's one thing, but again, if you have units without helmets, there can be a huge liability if you want to use them as a major force in your army. Yeah, those warriors, they are kind of okay if they would be facing a similar enemy. Yeah, I kind of have to hope the Earth Elementals aren't killing too many of them too fast, and then hope that our massive Lord's load of Shatter Mages can make a dent into the enemy. So this will be a 1-2 punch. This army will sacrifice itself in the hope of killing enough of the Shard Guards, and maybe some of the Sharks can take out some of the Great Olms and leaders. And after that, it's on our main army. Our main army has to, of course, to attack here. And since this guy is here, hey, let's assassinate. It will probably not work since it's a beefy dude against some dumb frogs, but hey, since if the Agartha player forgot to set him back to something besides running away, he'll probably run again, and then he'll be out of I don't know how to say this, out of sight, out of mind. Let's say it like this. And hey, since there are now again several enemy provinces around, we might be lucky and he kills himself by running into something like the Faraway Sea. This was already pretty damn lucky considering the land connections may be a bit funky. There's a lot of shit that doesn't work as you would expect. Dominions, for example, crossing the land-water border moves slower. So for example, all those provinces and temples did take a long while to finally get into Baptizer. And now that the Dominion is there, it can actually spread way faster underwater. Just too late to matter for us. Still kind of funny that there's not much going on here, so this will be a penultimate turn. Next turn we'll be seeing if this massive amount of defense can slow us down, and we get a little minor battle here. Or he throws himself immediately at us, then we get a big impressive battle. One where we of course give all of our cards to our enemy again. But yes, I have to say, as much as I like those dumb frogs, they really could have used some more useful troops. Or at least troops that have learned the magic power of helmets. Even our big buff frogs are hampered by massive amounts of not having a helmet. They are of course the two typical big beefy guys with higher defense than attack skills. But yeah, we went through all of this. Last time I failed by using these dudes, but eventually they found their counter and got killed. Simply put, because they cost an insane amount of recruitment points. So even if you have golden resources, they're hard to mass. And if you don't mass them, their magic resistance will make them painfully bad as the longer the game goes on. The protection isn't high enough to matter, and again, without a helmet, everything hitting their dumb heads will be extremely painful. Then we had our poison frogs, and now we are surrounded by undead enemies and inanimate objects that have learned to move, so that poison isn't going to work very wonders here. In fact, the complete disaster that is this game makes me think it would probably for the best if we put better units first. How many of those do we even have? hell if you're now running into defense. Why not? It's not like we can just continue recruiting them. This game is basically over. So I'll replace some of our frontline soldiers with our sacreds instead. They're a little bit beefier and they come with poison, so if we now run into a big swarm of idiots in the front line, at least they're getting some little poison gas. And hey, that would also solve this problem of this extremely weak flank down here. Now we can fill this hole here and still have some backup here. So, okay, so now I have exchanged things around. Oh, I even have more sacreds there, but not as many as I want to. But I can beef up the front line a bit. So now that I've changed this around, let's make sure that everyone moves down there. And then let's hope that we are not eating up all of our precious gems, because then the game will be over before I can replace anything. And that's it for the final, well, final turn that matters, I guess. At least we get this guy back as a white mage. Well, he will be transforming into some kind of humanoid abomination. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I'm getting the feeling the devs really didn't work too hard on middle-aged Xibalba. With the shit like missing forms for the mages and the really weird combo of frogs without helmets here. Yeah, I guess in single player you would have more fun because the enemy is a brain-dead AI. But hey, I had fun and at least it went better than the last time I tried to play the Frog Nation, where we got dumpstered very early in the game. In a strange way, it actually helped us that we started at the surface instead of the caves where we belong, since the only other cave nation is an extremely buffed and changed middle-aged Agartha. As we learned with their new super golem powers, they are actually now a force to be reckoned with. I should probably try them out sometime in the future, but hey, I don't want to rant and ramble here on my final turns too much. Research is going on, I guess, but since all of our mages are now on the battlefield, it has slowed down immensely. Yeah, no way in hell can we make the 20-30 turns to get lost land. That's another thing. I think really the developers must be scared of all those super spells. Not only because they have high paths, that's whatever, can always build up a mage, even if you didn't just design your pretender to cast a spell. 100 gems, yeah, you can find 100 gems eventually. But having also a level 9 spell, you have to run for it exclusively, and then of course you have this awesome spell and nothing else, so it's all, I guess, I don't know. As we can see, we did several paths, no favors here, but I have to see if I can squeeze down maybe alteration or enchantment next time we're doing this to get some true evocation even faster. But of course, this all depends on the enemy doing what we want, and the sudden invasion by Agartha told us, well, no. In this case it wouldn't have mattered because Asphodel didn't tell me that they were already stealing thrones from somewhere else, and that's it. We're actually just a few turns away from winning the game. They now have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 19, 11 out of 13 thrones. And we are still 36 turns, 12, I think, yeah. It's 36 turns away from the Cataclysm. I wonder if you eventually manage to make a multiplayer game that will actually show the viewers what is going on in the Cataclysm. Right now we have far too good players, and of course in this case the most backstabby game I've seen in a long time, with everyone fighting everyone else, and completely underestimating Asphodel before it was too late. Well, that's it for this turn. Lipluini out.